hit New York City.
There it is. The plane went right through the other tower of the World Trade Center.
In just a week's time, we have had 4 confirmed cases of anthrax, all with media connections, and a number of anthrax scares as well.
At that point, synthetic biology became a potential tool for a whole new kind of weapon.
New alarm bells ringing tonight on the coronavirus outbreak in this country as the number of dead rises. More confirmed cases tonight in New York and Los Angeles, where an airport worker on the front lines of stopping the virus's spread has been infected.
Spread of the whole city, Wuhan. So I can't see my friends and my grandparents in person.
And region by region, there are now well over 200 confirmed cases in this country, but remember, only 1,500 people have been tested.
Malaysia has confirmed its first locally transmitted case of the novel coronavirus.
The mayor today calling the spread unpredictable and worrisome.
Hi guys, my name is Muhammad Hazim Irfan. So today's videos is all about the bioweapon. Okay, maybe you already know about the bioweapon, but perhaps you don't, because me and my friends are going to talk about this topic very detailed, so you can explain it to others and let the others know what happened in our world right now. The question is, what is the nature of the bioweapon and its historical genesis? What example of bioweapon? Is it illegal? To gain a better understanding about it, please watch the videos till the end.
What is bioweapon? Biological warfare, also known as germ warfare, is the use of biological toxin or infectious agent such as bacteria, viruses, insect, and fungi with the intent to kill, harm, or insipidate humans, animal, or plant as an act of war. Biological warfare is distinct from warfare involving other types of weapon of mass destruction, WMD, including nuclear warfare, chemical warfare, and radiological warfare. None of these are considered conventional weapons, which are deployed primarily for their explosive, kinetic, or incendiary potential. Biological weapons may be employed in various ways to gain a strategic or tactical advantage over the enemy, either by trade or by actual deployment. Like some chemical weapons, biological weapons may also be useful as area denial weapons. These agents may be lethal or non-lethal and may be targeted against a single individual, a group of people, or even an entire population. They may be developed, acquired, stockpiled, or deployed by nation-state or by non-national group. In the latter case, or if a nation-state use it clandestinely, it may also be considered bioterrorism.
Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Putri Balkis Auni binti Mama Isha, and I'm here to talk to you about the history of bioweapons. Biological warfare has long been a part of history of humanity, and these biological weapons are not just the 21st century concern, because humans have used this infectious agent in conflict for hundreds of years. One of the first uses of biological weapon was recorded in 1347 when Mongol forces was reported to have catapulted the dead body of soldiers who have died of the plague or Black Death disease over the cities of Kaffa, or has now been known as Ukraine. Plague and Black Death continue travel through Asia, eventually hitting the major city such as Baghdad and Constantinople, and travel along to Egypt, Syria, and down to the Red Sea and to Mecca. Most of the historians believe and estimated the plague or Black Death disease have killed about 30% and 60% of Europe's population between 1347 and 1351. Other than that, in 1763, British troops besieged at Fort during Pontiac's rebellion, as they intentionally give out and pass the blanket that already infected with smallpox to the Native American, causing the epidemic to spread badly. These biological weapons are not only stopped there, as the uses of biological weapons are increasing by time to time, especially in modern era. One of the famous uses of biological weapons in modern era is during the World War II, when Japanese attacked China by using the plague as a biological weapons during Sino-Japanese War in late 1930s and 1940s. The Japanese army uses bioweapon by fill the bomb with the plague-infected fleas, and then they drop the bomb onto 2 Chinese cities. They also use cholera, Shigella, and also anthrax in other attacks. As a result, it's estimated around 580,000 Chinese people died from the Japanese biological weapons programs. Bioweapons also have been used in a few instances in the past by terrorist organizations. In 1918, followers of Bangwashiri rationing sprinkled homegrown salmonella bacteria to the supermarket products, door handle, and also restaurant salad bar in Oregon, United States. These poisonings were prepared to obstruct the local people in Oregon from voting during election. Luckily, there is no death was reported, but only 751 people became sick. As I can conclude, this biological weapon clearly targeted a large population.
What are the examples of bioweapon agent and its symptoms? The first is anthrax. Anthrax is a gram-positive and root-shaped bacteria with the scientific name Bacillus anthracis, and is usually found in soil. Its symptoms are fever, malaise, fatigue, cough, mild chest discomfort, and cold. Botulism is caused by the attack of toxins from bacterial Clostridium botulinum toward the body's nerve. Blurred vision, dry mouth, weakness, dysphonia, and dysphagia are one of its symptoms. Next is cholera. Ingestion of food or water contaminated with the bacterium Vibrio cholerae cause an acute bile infection. Its signs of vomiting, malaise, headache, abdominal cramp, and diarrhea. Ricin is also one of the bioweapon agents. Ricin is a poison found naturally in castor beans. Its symptoms are fever, cough, edema, chest tightness, and nausea. Last but not least is tularemia, caused by the bacterium Versicella tularensis. Tularemia is also known as rabbit fever or deer fly fever. Symptoms for tularemia are fever, malaise, local ulcer, and weight loss. So, if any of the state symptoms happen to you, it is better to visit the nearest clinic or hospital to treat it, because some of it could cause death. We should always be careful with our surroundings, because we never know and we could not see those small bacteria with our naked eye.
My name is Wan Ashraf bin Wan Muhammad Hanafiah, and today I'm going to talk about, does biological weapon is illegal? Okay, so the answer is yes. The bioweapon is illegal. Bioweapon is prohibited and forbidden to use. This is based on the Biological and Toxin Weapon Convention 1972, signed by 183 states, in which they agreed to ban biological and toxin weapons by prohibiting their development, production, acquisition, transfer, stockpiling, and use. Other than that, another agreement that is signed by 165 states is the Chemical Weapon Convention 1993. The function of this convention is same as the Biological Weapon Convention, in which to prevent the use of them and the development. Even though the convention was signed, there are some minorities who still use the biological weapon to fulfill their desire. For example, in USA, there are some terrorists who use Bacillus anthracis, which cause anthrax disease. They make the microbes into powder form and put it in the envelope. Then they give the envelope to their targets, and when they open it, the microbes can easily infect the person through breeding. And for my conclusion, bioweapon can seriously cause major deaths to humans or animals. There are lots of proof if you search on the internet right now. Technically, the bioweapon can help humanity to understand the biology in a good way, such as the career of forensic entomology. But there are more consequences than the pros. Thus, we must report to World Health Organization, or we call it WHO, if you see somebody abuse the using of bioweapon.
Hi guys, interesting right? So the best part of this video is the coronavirus is one of the bioweapon. COVID-19 virus, China's and bioweapon military strategy. The scientific study referred to above cannot exclude COVID's laboratory origin. Chinese bioweapons program, which provide a broader view of the present situation today, should also be studied. One recognized fact that scientists will not argue is that China has always been a signatory to the Biological Warfare Convention of 1984 to a double standard. An article in the New York Times in 1993, China may have resumed its germ arm program. US officials think the secret biological weapon program and leadership of the Chinese Communist Party is exposed. The article quoting a top American intelligence official state that China would very probably not have finished the biological warfare. The study also stressed that the People's Liberation Army (PLA) at 2 centers in China performed similar activity. In the same way, the New York Times said Yan Ali Bekov's book Biohazard, in the story entitled China experienced a catastrophic mishap in one of its secret facilities to create biological weapons, triggered two main outbreaks. It may be pointed out that in 2003, the WHO examined China's role in SARS propagation, since it did not promptly inform the Apex Health Agency, which further disseminated the disease beyond China. The problem is that while China was a signatory to the Convention on Biological Weapons, it did not bother to inform the global community and made clear mistake about COVID-19. The Nuclear Information Project (NIP) has also claimed in its research that China has a sophisticated biotechnological infrastructure and the necessary capacity for the production of munitions in the design, production and arms industry. If you follow Dennis Shoham, an Israeli intelligence officer, at an article headline, "Coronavirus may originate in a laboratory related to China's bioweapon program." On 26 January 2020, the Washington Times referred to Shoham as SARS is largely covered by the Chinese BW program and addressed several important sites. In addition, the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo blamed China for a deadlock and reflected a more or less similar view.
How can we survive in bioweapon attack? Number 1. Stay informed. Should a pandemic of any kind flare up, the World Health Organization (WHO), the Center for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), and other governmental and non-governmental organizations will provide information on the spread of the disease, as well as update on vaccines or other medication. Tips for keeping yourself safe and travel advisories. The WHO and CDC, as well as various national governments, already have websites in place to provide useful planning information to the public. Newspaper, TV, and radio broadcasts will also help disseminate critical warning and advice. Secondly, wash your hands frequently. Hand washing may be the single most powerful defense against avian influenza and many other infectious diseases. If pandemic strikes, you should wash your hands several times a day. Make sure that you use proper hand washing technique. Use use an alcohol-based disinfectant. Since it's probably not feasible to wash your hand every time you touch something that may carry the virus, you should carry an alcohol-based hand cleaner with you at all times. This cleaner comes in a variety of forms and can be used anytime you need a quick touch-up. Keep in mind, however, that the use of this cleaner is not a substitute of thoroughly washing your hand, and they should only be used to supplement hand washing. Exercise social distancing. The most effective way to prevent becoming infected is to avoid exposure to infected people. Unfortunately, it's not possible to determine who is infected and who is not. By the time symptoms appear, a person is already contagious. Social distancing, deliberately limiting contact with people, is a reasonable precaution to take in the event of a pandemic. Stay home from work. If you are sick, or if others at your workplace have become sick, you should stay away from your workplace even in absence of a pandemic. Given that people will generally be infected and contagious before they exhibit symptoms. However, during a pandemic, it's essential to stay away from places such as work, where you have a high probability of being exposed to an infected person. Wear a respirator. The most virus can be spread through the air, so in the event of a pandemic, it's a good idea to protect yourself from inhalation of the virus if you are put out in public. While surgical masks only prevent the wearer from spreading germs, respirators protect the wearer from inhaling germs. Respirators only provide protection when worn properly, so be sure to follow the instruction exactly. They should cover the nose and there should be no gaps between the mask and the side of the face. Wear medical gloves. Gloves can prevent germs from getting on your hand, where they can be absorbed directly through open cuts or sprayed to other parts of your body. Latex or neutral medical glove or heavy-duty rubber glove can be used to protect the hand. The glove should be removed if torn or damaged, and hand should be thoroughly washed after removal of glove. Dispose of potentially contaminated materials properly. Glove, mask, tissue, and other potential biohazards should be handled carefully and disposed of properly. Place these materials in approved biohazard container or seal them in clearly marked plastic bag. Stock up on necessities. In the developed world, at least food shortage and disruption of service will likely not last more than a week or two at a time. Still, it's essential to be prepared for such an event. Store a 2-week supply of water for everyone in your household. Keep at least 1 gallon, which is 3.8 liters, per person per day in clear water container. Also, store a 2-week supply of food, optionally for non-perishable food that don't need to be cooked and do not require a lot of water to prepare. Lastly, stock up on your medication. Make sure you have an adequate supply of essential medication.